Hello and welcome back to Indolo Model Railway. Well, today I'm going to be installing the curve turnout. It's actually a unifrog, not an electrofrog. I've gone to the uni. It's the SLU76. It's the curve turnout from Pico, code 100, 00 HO scale. Now, this is actually for me to actually come from the main line loop out into the terminus station that you've seen on the platform. Now, to do that, I've actually had to go deep inside the mountain. Let me take you and have a look what's inside. So in here, I've been working. Oh dear, it's a bit tight in here. This is where the branch line and the main line come round. Now I've already cut out one of the second radius segments to allow me to put this, that's the segment there. If I put that down there, that was about there. That was the second segment of the, that light is too bright, take it away, see if it's any better. That was the second segment of the 4 segment, I think that was the 4th radius curve, yeah, going around there. So what I've done is actually replace part of it with a unifrog curve turnout. Now that will come onto this line here, that will go all the way out up into the terminus station on the other section of the layout. I'll put this down. Let me see if you can see that okay. Yeah, seems bright enough. Okay, so where have I got so far? So, as I said, I've actually taken this section out. I've joined it where the first part, so we have 4 parts normally to a curve, 1, 2, so that's 1 would stop there, 2 would be here, and then 3 and 4, that would be your complete curve. So I didn't want to cut in halfway, so I've joined it at the end of this first quarter, this first part of the curve, and then from there it will come round. I'm going to join it here, so that's going to be joined there. I've already got a dropper there already, and then take that away, and then from this section here I've got a curved piece of track that I will cut in, and that will go all the way round and up and out. Obviously I'm going to make sure there's a nice smooth curve on there, but that's really to give you the general idea. Now the challenge that I really do have, I've never wired up a unifrog before for the conversion of the polarity, so that's going to be interesting, so I've got to do some reading up on that. I've been told that the unifrogs near enough come as done. You should be able to just install them and the polarities will sort themselves out. But anyway, I will do some research before I fully install it. The challenge that I really have right now is that, as most of you know, we have to drill a hole here for the motor, probably about an 8 to 10 mil hole in here, where the motor will go underneath the baseboard. Let me take you underneath there now. So that will be probably somewhere around about here. I can move this bus wire out the way. Just got to drop that clip out there and it'll move out the way. But it's going to be roughly about here. Now that'd be fine if I was drilling from this side. I've got the depth of the drill. I've got the depth between the baseboard and the mounting, and you can't really put a drill in there. So I've got a bit of a challenge at the moment of how I can mark it correctly. I'll normally mark it north, east, south, west, as it were, of that hole to get me my centre. But then it's how am I going to drill, get a drill in here. If you imagine a drill is probably as long as this pencil maybe, and I've then got to get a drill in here. Well, not there, but obviously once this is moved out, to this hole. Now what I thought I could possibly do is try with the little pin drill to go all the way through the baseboard here. Once I get my north, east, south and west, and I get my centre exactly where that whole pinhole is to be, I can then put a pin vise through there, come all the way outside, and I can then drill from the bottom up, obviously removing this valuable curved turnout. I think it was about 36 euros, 34 euros for that. So they're not cheap, but as I said, this is going to be in, and then I'm going to put the side on this mounting again, and all this is going to be covered in and you won't see it. Now, if you remember before, I used to have a riser here. Now that riser used to come around, and I did experiment with actually coming off of this line and reducing it, and I did try to reduce it all the way through here to nothing, but it didn't really work. The trains kept derailing, so I'm going to have this really from the outside as a mine. So from the outside you're going to have wagons coming out of here for the mine. So at the moment it is something that I can think about maybe doing. I've left the track there, and maybe in time I can look to take that off, maybe from this direction, and do something with it. But at the moment it's just actually a bit of a dead track, so I'm going to have it as this is the way to the mine, and have some coal lorries or something, or coal wagons coming out of there. But today we're working on the curved turnout project, this unifrog that's going to come around here on the main line, and then when flipped, obviously with the motor, I'm using the IP digital cobalt motors that connects to my ecosystem, and I'll be able to then turn this to actually say, right, no, don't go around the main line, flip, and then come up this line here, which is, if I can get that over, which is going to come around here all the way along there and up and out to the other board, which is actually standing up there, and that's where the main terminus station will be, along there. So I'm going to get on and do that now, and I will keep you posted along the way.